We're taking a stroll through the forbidden door and saying goodbye to a legend. This week on Wrestling with the Business.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome back to the world's greatest internet wrestling commentary show. I am your host, the varsity athlete, Jeremy Bodette, and with me, as always, is my partner in crime, Matthew More Than Man Lambert. Matthew More Than Man Lambert.
Haven't been much of a professor lately, so why not?
I don't know. You've been crushing me, so I guess that doesn't say much. Anyways, we are coming to you live from Insane Game Studios this week for another exciting week. Wow, do we have a lot to get through this week. You know, when I was going through and doing our outline for this week, I thought, how is this show going to be more than 15 minutes? And then you start running through everything, like not just casually scrolling through Twitter, but actually looking at stuff. Mm-hmm. And you're like, there is a lot going on this week. So obviously, we had a passing. Roman Reigns' father passed away this week. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a WYATTSicks update. I really feel like we could just do weekly updates with that storyline because it's so hot right now that it really just makes sense to hit it up every single week. We've got huge agreements between WWE and the whole state of Indiana, which is something new that I don't think we've ever seen before, which is something worth talking about. Not to mention Forbidden Door predictions and all the news and rumors that comes along with it. So before we get into that, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, guys. Point us in the right direction. Comment below. Let us know what you want us to cover that we're not covering. Are there any weekly recurring things you want us to handle? This week, there's not going to be a False Con anywhere. There's not going to be a gauntlet. It's summertime. We're on vacation, okay? So let's just take the foot off the pedal here, okay? Let's relax a little bit. But we will be at it here and there for you. But before we get into things, we got to do the tweet of the week.
Yes.
We got to do the tweet of the week. And this one...
Last week's was a good one.
Last week's was a good one. This week, the Twitterverse, the internet wrestling community did not disappoint. And I'm going to share it with you right now. I'm going to share it below. This week's comes from Legends of Wrestling. And it's not so much a joke as it is a piece of truth that really shocked me. This is the tweet. It's from Legends of Wrestling. It says, Vice TV has revealed that Vince Russo said bro 353 times during the course of their 4-hour interview for the miniseries Who Killed WCW. 353 times, which is probably the most Vince Russo thing you could ever do in the world.
Of course.
Is say bro 353 times in 4 hours. 350, what is it? How many minutes in 4 hours? 240? So that means he said it more than once a minute. Like every 45 seconds he said bro.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty shocking. Let us know what your over-under is and comment below on your tweet of the week. If you happen to share it, we will, and it's good enough, we will certainly be sharing it on this show. And if you can beat that, God bless you. I don't think there's been a better wrestling tweet this week. But let's take it down a notch. Let's look back on a legend. This week, the wrestling world had yet another tragic loss. Tell us about it, Matt.
So, yeah, WWE Hall of Famer Sikaanoa'i, one half of the Wild Samoans, father to Roman Reigns. Really, he and Afa are pretty much the patriarchs of the Samoan bloodline dynasty. He passed away this week at the age of 79. I mean, he was just on WWE TV, him and Afa both, not that long ago during the whole Bloodline story. So
yeah, they've made multiple appearances in the last few years, I remember.
Definitely sad to hear. I mean, the Wild Samoans, they're one of the earliest tag teams. I mean, they were hot during the 70s and the 80s, but they're one of the earliest tag teams I can remember just seeing them and being like, holy crap, they are scary.
They really were the model for every Samoan. Mm-hmm. I mean, they made the mold for like the Samoan wrestler, the stereotypical Samoan wrestler. So I really feel like, I guess if there was a Mount Rushmore for Samoan wrestlers, they would certainly have to be on it. Both
Absolutely.
of them, him and his brother.
And obviously, again, during the 70s and 80s, so they had a lot of NWA.
Yeah, they jumped around a lot, right? Didn't they go to Japan?
Yep.
For a while.
But mainly known for their 3 tag reigns in WWF. And after their wrestling careers, opening a wrestling school, training, obviously, many of the Samoan dynasty, but guys like Batista went through that school and everything. So definitely leaving a legacy on the wrestling business, and it's definitely sad to see him go.
Yeah, I mean, we wish the best to his family, and we hope that they find peace. Lord only knows what this will do for Roman Reigns. Is this going to motivate him to get back, or is this going to motivate him to stay away a little bit longer?
He's got to be coming back as a babyface.
He's well, yeah, he literally just turned face, walked out. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. I get the sense that Triple H is both flexible and inflexible. So the real question is this one of those situations where he's willing to be flexible?
Right.
But
definitely our condolences to the family. And
so that would make. So hang on. So how is he related to The Rock then? He's his uncle?
Uncle, I believe, yeah.
Right? He'd be his uncle? Yeah. So, yeah, it's amazing, how no matter how big the business gets, it's still a family business.
Mm-hmm.
Something never changes about that.
But definitely have to address that. So let's see if we can move on to some lighter news here. WWB in the news. Jer, what are the headlines this week?
So we thought it would happen. WYATTSicks. What's the WYATTSicks? There's only 5 people. Who could it be? Well, WWE, it appears speculation has blown up. WWE has dropped an Easter egg. In the background of Chad Gable's return on Monday Night Raw this week, we saw that he very awkwardly seemed to stagger or walk in front of the part of the truck containing Alexa Bliss's picture. So speculation exploded on the internet that perhaps she will be back very soon as a particular member of the WYATTSicks, which I think we all agree absolutely needs to be done. And you didn't actually kill off Chad Gable, so, there's always that.
Looked like it. Looked like he had a gunshot to the head.
At least make him go away for a little while. I mean, he is kind of due for a break now, but I guess you need him for the next pay-per-view, so that's what it'll be. In AEW news, so Pentagon Jr.'s contract is up basically after All In. I'm sorry. Yeah, basically after All In. It's the end of August.
Mm-hmm.
It's up. There was a lot of speculation. I guess there's this groundswell of support for him to go to WWE. Like a lot of the fan base is calling for him. They really want to see the chance at WrestleMania. I'm torn both ways about it. One, it would be kind of cool to see the chance at WrestleMania, but on the other hand, is there going to be chance at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I don't know that really caters to his kind of fan base. He did clarify as well this week that there was a lot of speculation when he left Lucha Underground and before he went to AEW that WWE was very interested in him, and he's like, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I did not get any kind of offer from them. So maybe they're interested in him now. I believe he's 39 years old. So especially for his particular style of wrestling.
I would have guessed he was older than that.
He's getting up there a little bit. Whatever contract he decides to sign, probably going to be his last, and he is distracted with a lot of different business adventures. He has restaurants, he has schools, he has other businesses.
Yeah, that surprised me too when I heard that. He's really diversified himself, which is good to see.
Smart. It's good to see.
I don't know. Would you like to see him in WWE? I kind of feel like it wouldn't be the same.
It'd be one of those things that you kind of do for the same reason Sting did it. You do it just to say you did it. You did it. You went to the big time. You would sign an agreement being like, if I'm healthy, you have to put me in WrestleMania or something. Just to say I was at WrestleMania and I did WrestleMania. Maybe hit the big 4, sign a 1 or 2 year agreement. I don't think he's to that point yet. It's kind of a weird situation where like you kind of don't want to do that until you're over the mountain and you've kind of had all the matches you think you can have, But at the same time, your value is so low at that point. If you wait too long, your value is going to be so low, and WWE is going to be like, dude, you're not going to put any butts in seats for us, so we really don't want you.
But on the flip side, I kind of feel like AEW could do more with him. He should be in the world title picture, I think.
I think he could hold, the world title belt. They really haven't. I mean, they put the tag belts on him and Phoenix, right?
Yeah, tag and trios. That's it.
But he hasn't done anything all by himself.
Not really.
And with Phoenix being injured, in and out and in and out and in and out, I mean, he definitely deserves his own run.
Yeah.
You could put the belt on
even
him.
international or continental at this point, but he could definitely be a world champion for sure.
No matter what, even if nobody takes him, and I think AEW will re-sign him, but even if nobody takes him, he could go back to AAA and light the world on fire.
Yeah.
And him and Dolph Ziggler, they could have some cool matches. Dolph Ziggler's mega champion right now. So,
is he really? When did that happen?
A couple of months ago.
Wow.
I swear to God he did. I'm going to eat my hat. I feel like I'm going to eat my... Maybe he's lost it since then. Some releases coming up. Actually, I'm going to jump to the bottom here. So, Dijak.
Yeah. So this just broke. This was pretty incredible.
Breaking news. So, Dijak, who is a star in NXT, just got brought up on the Raw roster. What the heck is going on? Got the look, got the personality. He's capable in the ring.
Definitely seems like a Triple H guy.
And has basically come out and said, I got stonewalled by WWE. Why don't you share? There was, he did a little write-up and shared it on social media.
So yeah, he has this letter he wrote down and is shown just signing it on online. So says WWE never negotiated with me. We attempted to negotiate and they stonewalled me. They never made me a single offer. Then they informed me they would not renew my contract at the 11th hour. 2 months ago, I was in one of the best matches in NXT history in a top match of WrestleMania weekend. On that day, a top executive in WWE told me I was crushing it, quote unquote. I was slated to feud for the NXT title, but I got called up to Raw instead. Consistently outperformed everyone's expectations throughout 2023 and 24. I never complained about anything or was difficult to work with. I tirelessly pitched ideas to anyone who would listen. As recently as the day before, I was notified. I never once missed a booking. I was injured one time in 7 years for 3 months. I'm thankful, disappointed, but also excited. This has lit a fire under me to relentlessly prove myself to the world. All I ever wanted was a fair shot, and now I have the opportunity to go out and take it. So, definitely seems disappointed, but he's ready. And that post was tagged to AEW, Tony Khan, TNA, Tommy Dreamer, and New Japan. So
I'm sure Tony Khan will knock on his door. And while I can't guarantee you're going to get any more exposure, Dijak, I can guarantee that you're going to have some banger matches.
Well, yeah, I think AEW is most likely simply because Keith Lee is there, and they were booked for years on the Indies and in NXT just for their amazing matches together. And
again, I don't know how much more exposure you're going to get because, as we've talked about in the show multiple times, it's very crowded in AEW as well. But you're going to have some banger matches.
I mean, just to come back from the whole Retribution T-Bar bullshit that he was put in, and he's flourished after that. I mean, yeah, somebody's got to scoop him up quick.
He's a good one, and he's not old, so make something happen. In related news, Kayla Braxton has confirmed that she's basically already out of WWE. She's basically operating on like a handshake agreement with them through tonight's SmackDown from Madison Square Garden. So that'll be her last SmackDown ever. She's decided she's not going to renew her contract. There was speculation. Some unnamed sources were saying that she just kind of sees the writing on the wall, that she's kind of getting elbowed out a little bit. And frankly, I'm sure that she could get a job. She's got a big enough social media following that she could find success just about anywhere else she goes. But, dude, she's been there 8 years.
Yeah, a long time.
2016. Think about how different the wrestling world was back in 2016.
For a while there, they had Charlie Crusoe, they had Kayla, and they had Dasha Fuentes. All three of them kind of similar in their looks and in their personalities and whatnot. Now,
actually, she hosted that show, right?
The Bump, yeah.
The Bump, yeah. She hosted The Bump.
Or Raw Talk, one or the other.
Something like that. I think it was The Bump.
Yeah, so, I mean, after Charlie and Dasha left, she was the last one standing, and now they're moving in a completely different direction again.
I mean, I can't help but wonder. I mean, she's not old, but she's 33. And for pretty ladies that hold up microphones to tough guys, maybe that's a little old. I don't know. But again, I mean, she's almost
Kelly's
like
still there. She's not much older.
She's almost like an institution there, you know. Well, that makes you wonder if politics plays into it, you know. Like maybe she didn't scratch the right back. I don't know. Do you know who Caitlin Clark is?
Yes.
At
WNBA, yeah.
You do know who Caitlin Clark is. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've been watching the stories.
I know you're not a huge sports guy.
Not at all. Couldn't tell you what team or nothing.
So this past week, and we'll get to this later on, but there's a big deal, and it's previously been announced that Royal Rumble this year is going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana. Everybody's really excited about it. And probably the biggest star in Indianapolis right now is WNBA star Caitlin Clark, who's lighting the world on fire with her amazing stats.
Yep.
And she was invited by Bianca Belair on air to come and join the Royal Rumble. Now,
that would be interesting.
Now, it made me wonder because we've had celebrity surprise male appearances on the Royal Rumble, but we really haven't. I mean, we've had some old, tip your hat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great to see you again on
not
the
in
women's
the Rumble,
side.
no. We've had like Maria Menounos do a match here and there or something, but not in the Rumble.
Yeah, and
Ooh, Maria Menounos, that would have been good for Gauntlet this
that
past
would have been
week.
a good gauntlet. Yeah, but I think I guess what I mean is I don't think we've seen. It would be interesting to see how much. I would love to see behind the scenes of what they do to get her ready and stuff like that, like after the fact. I would love to see something like that. I don't think it would conflict with the season. I think the season runs like through the summertime, basically. So scheduling-wise, assuming she's not busy with anything else, it could be done. But it struck me as very interesting that now that female stars are starting to build themselves up, and it's just a greater association between the state, the municipality, the location, and the organization, right? Which, again, we'll get into it later, but there's this huge agreement that's being signed between the state of Indiana and WWE, and it's interesting that now it's even kind of bleeding into sort of just other associated sports with the area. Very interesting. So we'll have to see how that develops. Last but not least, a follow-up from a topic first covered last week on the rumors of Shane O'Mac showing some interest in AEW. Tony Khan's basically responded and basically said, I've got a ton of respect for Shane. He's a great executive. He's done great things for the business. And if he is interested, give me a call. And I would love to have him involved. So we know at least one side of the organization is... one side of the equation could be potentially interested in that. And
that would definitely be interesting.
it's just a feeling, but I got the feeling that it wasn't like a thumb in the eye of Vince McMahon or anything like that. It seemed like genuine interest.
It would be kind of cool if they did this pretty quick to play off of the last episode of Who Killed WCW that aired this week, which was all about the last episode of Nitro. It would be kind of cool if they kind of played off of that and just had Shane McMahon show up and say, I now own AEW. Like, how many flashbacks would
Now
that
you're probably wondering,
PTSD start going
what's
in some of
Shane
the guys?
McMahon doing on AEW television?
That would be kind of
If
cool.
he dressed up like his dad, I would die. I would die laughing if that happened. Just cut the exact same promo with a different background. That weird fence that was behind him, right?
Yep.
That would just be hysterical. So, yeah, that wraps up news and rumors for us. Matt, let's talk about the wyattsicks and what's going on with them. There was a big promo this week. Tell us about it.
A very good promo.
This was on Raw again, right?
This was on Raw. I didn't expect to see Bo Dallas unmasked so quickly, but there was a pre-recorded vignette of Uncle Howdy interviewing Bo Dallas.
It was a little creepy.
It was cool.
With the VHS and the skipping and
Yep.
everything.
They're on a darkened set, but you could just barely make out in the background the set of the Firefly Funhouse, which was really cool. And kind of real life bleeding into the story of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Not even kind of, really 100%. All about Uncle Howdy asking about how Bo feels about his brother dying, about Bray Wyatt dying, is he ready to carry on the legacy and whatnot. And Bo cut a very impassioned promo. And I never noticed it before this promo, how much him and Bray actually look alike.
Yeah, they do look a lot alike.
This is the first time where I saw him. I'm like, oh, yeah, they are definitely brothers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was really, really cool. I'm not sure where they're going to go from here with that, but...
well, it answers the question. Why?
Yep.
Right? Because the fundamental question that...
why are the wyattsicks doing what they're doing?
Which is like, what are you doing here, right? Which is the fundamental question. And Bo Dallas was like, I don't want anybody to forget my brother. right? That's what it ultimately came down to. So you've got the who, you've got the why. Now all we need is the how, right? The how and the what. What are you going to do and how are you going to do it? That's fundamentally, and then you've got everything you need for a hell of a storyline. So should be very interesting. One thing, and I'm not as into the lore, the Wyatt lore as you are, but there was a lot of stuff going around the internet this week about people looking for red circles on all of the gimmick costumes and stuff, and they found it everywhere except for on Nikki, but then they found it on Nikki's boot. And I don't know if there was any symbolism to that red circle.
I'm not sure.
There's like a red circle on the hammer that Rabbit carries, and they found it. I think it's on like the nose of Mercy, and they're hidden. It's little hidden Easter eggs all over it. I didn't know if there was any significance in the Wyatt.
Not that I'm aware
lore.
of. I'd have to look.
Yeah, that's one that I'm not familiar with. I thought it was really good. I thought it wasn't tacky at all. That they knew that they had to address it, and they did. They did it in an incredibly creative way. You always know, like with modern technology, it always kind of like looks. You can always kind of like tell that it's like fake skipping or whatever. This looked really good.
Yeah,
like it was like
showed them face to face, like they were sitting in the same room together. It was done pretty well.
Not just that, but like the skipping and the lines of the VHS tape, like it was an old rotten VHS tape, like an old cloudy memory or something like that. VHS was like the early 2000s, 20 years ago, or
earlier
more
than that. Yeah.
Well, I think the last VHS was like 2006 or something like that. But yeah, when it was in heavy use, early 2000s, and none of it looked cheesy, none of it looked campy. It wasn't overacted. Bo wasn't chewing the furniture, and they did that weird voice modulation.
Definitely a huge step up for him from what was the last thing he did was one of Miz's cronies, right?
Yeah,
I think that was the last thing he did on TV before disappearing.
Yeah, but
was this the right way to handle the Bray passing? And like this was the right way to address it, or could they have done it differently?
Outside of the actual like remembrance moment, I think it was it the SmackDown? It was like the night after. Because I think he was on SmackDown at the time he died, right? Wasn't he drafted to SmackDown?
No, he wasn't back. He was out of the company.
He had come back, though, a couple of months before.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
But he might not have been drafted.
He was playing Uncle Howdy. That's right.
He might not have been drafted, though, at that point. He might have still been a free agent. But either way, there really hasn't been any talk or mention of it. I mean, they've really avoided it. So you you have to bring it up. Obviously, the association is too close. To ignore it would be to kill it, essentially, to rip any consequence from it. I think it was the right way to handle it. I mean, they did it in a tactful way. He was in character, but he wasn't in character. And I feel like now they don't have to talk about it anymore.
Right.
He had, in 4 minutes, what was it, like a 4-minute promo? In 4 minutes, they've addressed it. And now they can just do whatever they want to for forever, and they never have to worry about any questions about it or addressing it again.
When we've talked about before, we said, you can't let them get beat. You can't have them going after titles.
You got to protect them.
But I think this, remembering Bray's legacy, I think this does lead to a title. It's going to be hard, but I mean, Bray's legacy, he should have been champion for, whatever. I think it's going to lead to that. It seems like it.
Yeah, and that gets to be another question, because the unlike other legends that have, let's say, worn multiple hats. Let's take Mick Foley, for example. You got Mick Foley, you got Cactus Jack, you got Dude Love, right? You got Mankind, right? But there's not a lot of intermixing, right? They had that one Rumble where he came out multiple times, which was kind of funny, tongue-in-cheek or whatever. But Bray Wyatt's gimmicks are so closely intertwined that you're kind of like, well, The Fiend won the championship, but Bray didn't. But they're both associated with the Firefly Funhouse, which is what these guys, Uncle
Bray
Howdy,
did win
all
it
of them
once.
are. Did Bray win it once?
I think so.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, like, who are you really, the line between who are you really tipping your hat at or trying to pay tribute to? Are you trying to pay tribute to Bray Wyatt? Are you trying to pay tribute to The Fiend? Are you trying to pay tribute to the Firefly Funhouse and that whole thing, or all of them at once? So it's still very early, and there's still a lot of ways for them to go. I hope. Again, I don't think you can do both. You can't win a championship and protect I mean, how long did The Undertaker go before he won the World Championship? 10 years? 12 years?
No, I think he won it within a couple of years.
I don't remember him holding the belt until he was American Badass.
No,
That's my earliest memory.
I'm pretty sure he had. Yeah, he definitely had it before that. Yeah.
You have to be really careful how you make him lose, and I don't think there's too many people that could go over. Yeah, now you're curious.
Yeah,
Perfect.
now I got to look this up.
I love this. All right, well, we'll have the professor look that up. But while you look that up, I mean, I think any way that you cut it, you're just walking a very fine line. I think the best case you could do if you felt like you had to have them go for a title is just delay it as long as you possibly can. Like, wait until the fans are clamoring for it. Ultimately, what you want to do is give the fans what they want. So if you just wait for the fans to give you that signal, if they want it, they're not going to wait. Like, it's not like there's any chance of you being too late to the party or something like that,
Yeah, he won his first championship in 1990. Oh, crap, I just lost it. He beat Hulk Hogan for his first championship.
That's a good way
at
to protect
Survivor Series in 92, it looks like. So
no,
2
it's
years.
2 years. That's earlier than I thought. But they did kind of protect him a little bit.
91, 1 year.
That they did kind of protect him a little bit because he beat Hulk Hogan. So, it's tough to find a guy that's Hogan. I mean, okay, they've made Roman Reigns into a Hulk Hogan. Okay, he could beat. But there's really only a couple of guys in the business that can carry the torch like that. And, Hulk Hogan would be one of them. Roman Reigns would be another guy. So
bring back Hogan so he can lose to Uncle Howdy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying,
That'd be hilarious.
He'd be crazy enough to get in the ring, brother. So, yeah, I mean, I think, again, you have to have them beat somebody that's almost unbeatable or represents some kind of legendary status.
Well, regardless, this promo definitely piqued the interest even more, and I'm excited to see where they go with this.
No overexposure either.
Yes.
That's another thing you got to watch out for. Once a week is fine.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you mentioned it earlier. Tell us about this deal with Indiana and Royal Rumble.
Man, WWE and this merger with TKO is really like just opening up new worlds of opportunities, basically for everybody. This is the magic of capitalism, in my opinion. So the details haven't been released yet, but we do have some information on a multi-year deal that WWE has signed with, and I'm going to screw this up, but it's like the Indiana Sports and Recreation Department, basically like a tourism organization that's designed to promote Indiana and what it can offer and host special events. It's a multi-year deal to host WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and the Royal Rumble in Indianapolis. They're going to host those, the 2-day SummerSlam, which kind of tells you a little bit about where it's going to be, because we know SummerSlam's not going to 2 days until 2026. So 2-day SummerSlam, 1-day Royal Rumble, 2-day WrestleMania in Indianapolis at some point in the future. Again, this is the details that we're missing. We don't know exactly when. It's going to be hosted at the Lucas Oil Arena, which has roughly 70,000 capacity on it, so plenty big enough. And that it's basically formed this multi-year partnership with Indiana as a whole, where not only are they getting the big three of the big four over the next few years, but they're also going to get SmackDown appearances, NXT appearances, and Raw performances across the state at different locations. So this really opens up sort of significant opportunities. Again, we don't know what the financial background is. We don't know what the details are. How many, could it be 5 years before we see a WrestleMania there? I don't know. But this has got to represent a huge financial opportunity for WWE, not just in tax breaks, but in money, opportunities, exposure. Indianapolis is it's centrally located. It's a large city. It has lots of infrastructure. It's a 2-hour flight from basically everywhere in the United States, so nobody has to travel that far. It draws a huge amount of people for all of those events. And then, of course, you're spreading the love across the state by having SmackDowns and Raws and NXT events there as well. So Really creative, really interesting, and this is going to start, as I mentioned earlier in our show, with the Royal Rumble on February 1st, 2025 is really when everything's going to kick off. So really, honestly, groundbreaking. I mean, it's not the kind of stuff that you really see anymore.
Right.
And actually, because I brought up Raw, this did not get a spot in our outline this week, but I feel like this is the best place to bring it up. Did you hear what Triple H was saying about Netflix and Raw this week?
It's going to be uncensored.
That Raw is going to be that's another piece of breaking news. Raw is going to be fully uncensored on Netflix.
I can't imagine they're going to go full on swearing, nudity.
Oh, they're going to swear.
Blood.
Oh, they're going to swear 1,000,000%.
Think so?
Dude, that's the lowest bar. The lowest bar is
they're not going to drop
swearing.
F-bombs. Because they're still going to want kids to go to the shows.
They might. Not a lot. You know,
One
you're
per
gonna
episode.
you're going to have to go through this. Certain people will be able to do it. The Rock will be able to do it.
The Rock will do it, yeah.
Right?
Of course he will.
Like The Rock will be able to do it. The Rock did it on TV and they bleeped it already, I'm pretty sure, right? When he was beating up Cody or whatever right before WrestleMania by the, was it the plane or whatever?
By the truck, yeah.
Or the truck, yeah, sorry, the truck. Like, you know, he already did it there, so of course he's going to use the fact that they're on Netflix. But I'm more interested in, like, edgier content, like, what's this WYATtsicks thing? I mean, that's some dark stuff.
I mean, just what they did on their debut with Chad Gable bleeding from the head. That was pretty extreme.
And it's dark, it's morbid. I mean, my kids are 6 and 9. I'm not letting them watch any WYATtsicks material, you know? And there's some stuff that I won't let my kids watch. You know, I'm a little careful when they're around when I watch AEW, and I don't let them watch TNA. And that's TNA's probably the most edgy content that's on there right now, in my opinion. Outside of MJF, I guess. He's really the only one. But yeah, I mean, so this kind of plays into that too as well. Like, you got these huge deals with Netflix to take it into streaming. That opens up a whole new opportunity as far as uncensored content, edginess, getting attention, bringing back the more attitude era type thing that Triple H has sort of been hinting at this entire time. This new age, the PG era is over. And then on top of that, signing these huge deals with entire states to be like, oh yeah, this is where we're going to be. Like, it's going to cut down on your travel. You can start putting infrastructure in place. Like, you can decide to stay somewhere for multiple weeks, which is going to save you a lot of money on travel. I mean, it's just, we mentioned the Who Killed WCW. And
very good show, by
Vince
the way.
Russo has said multiple times, I am not hosting a he said multiple times, I am writing for a television show. This is not wrestling. This is television. And this is sort of, in my opinion, a step in the opposite direction, where, yes, you are televising it, but you're trying to create a stable crowd somewhere in the central United States. You want to be able to sell tickets to multiple. You want to be like, oh, you're coming to SummerSlam? Come to the SmackDown before. So we want you to sell ticket packages. So you're almost kind of doing the opposite of that now, which is like you're trying to create a fan base in the central United States of people that are going to come to multiple shows and give you that money up front for multiple shows.
Right.
Which is a step back to the way that it was in the 90s and early 2000s. So very interesting. A very interesting turn of the business. We'll have to see how profitable it is for them in the next quarterly update.
Yeah.
And really, we're not going to see it for a long time after that. All right. There is, yet again, another huge pay-per-view this weekend. AEW Forbidden Door. Should we go through the card and do some predictions?
Yep. Time for the main event.
It's a big one.
So, yeah, fine. This is the first time in quite a while that it looks like they have all of the matches announced, including the pre-show matches.
Cross your fingers. Who knows? Saturday night.
At least according to Wikipedia.
It does include the
Yep.
The
3 pre-show matches.
3 pre-shows.
And 10 main show matches. So 13. That's usually what they stick to.
Now we're doing the belt isn't on the line. We're going to do unofficial predictions here and quick commentary.
Well, we did say the belt was going to be on the line for this show. It's been a while.
We're going to take it off. We're going to take it off, Dan. You want to put it up for grabs?
I think Dan needs to get his picks in pretty pretty darn quick this time.
We need to start making him put money on it. Then he might put his picks in.
There you go.
All right, what's up first?
All right, first pre-show match is a tag match. Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe. Sorry if I screw up these Japanese name.
Watanabe, I think.
Watanabe. That makes more sense, yeah. So those two versus Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano.
Willow.
Okay.
I think Willow and Nakano. Willow's the face in this one, and I think there'll be a lot of drama between her and Statlander because they're building that storyline.
Right off the bat, I'm picking Stat because
you like Stat.
She recently turned heel. She needs some wins to build this turn up. All right. Women's Owen Hart Cup Tournament first round match. Mariah May versus Saraya.
Can I just ask, how do you feel about them doing the opening Owen? Are they trying to add more significance to the Owen Hart tournament? Is that why they're doing this at Forbidden? Because I thought that they did. I thought that the final match was supposed to be at Forbidden Door.
No, the finals are going to be.
No, last year I'm asking. Weren't the finals at Forbidden Door last year?
I don't remember, honestly. But yeah, I don't know why they're doing a first round match on the pay-per-view. That's when they're doing all the others on Dynamite and Collision. It just doesn't make much sense, but whatever. Mariah May versus Saraya.
Saraya.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Saraya.
She hasn't really been around either. She won
much,
the belt.
no.
She won the belt. She lost the belt, and then she disappeared. She's talking trash on social media about it, though.
Of course she is. Trios match. Los Ingobernables de Japón, which will be Yoda Tsuchi, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi. What's so funny?
It's just like names that we never hear.
Versus the Lucha Brothers, Penta and Phoenix, and Mystico.
Oh, I like Mystico. I haven't seen him wrestle in a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the faces.
I forgot how much I like how you just wrote faces. That's gonna be a good match. Lots of dancing, I bet, in that one. Yeah, I'll go with the faces too.
Okay. LIJ is no more. All right, now we're on the main show. Ladder match for the vacant TNT Championship. Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe versus Jack Perry versus Dante Martin versus Leo Rush versus El Phantasmo.
I want Jack Perry to win that match.
Yeah, I'm saying Perry too.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That
just makes the most sense.
And I think he's earned it. I think he's earned a belt.
Yeah.
He's done a great job since he came back. No logic behind that. Zero effing logic behind that.
Looks like once again the AEW Women's World Championship is less important than the TBS.
Yeah, she's not losing it.
Timeless Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa.
Yeah, no, they're not sending that belt overseas.
Mm-hmm. Winner takes all for the TBS Championship and the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vacour.
Do we really think they're gonna do it? Yeah. No. No.
So we're both going for Moné.
By the way, if she does do the job and lose the belt, huge hat tip to her. Because that takes a lot of...
I'm interested to see Stephanie. She's wrestling on Collision this week before the pay-per-view, so I'm interested to see how good she is.
I'm sure they're going to put her over really well to make Sunday's match even better.
Now, okay, so here's... Oh.
Ooh.
All right, so now this might be a change. So on Dynamite this week, Chris Jericho was going to announce that Suzuki was going to be their third in the trios match. But Suzuki challenged Jericho to an FTW championship match. But here, it's got the trios match listed as Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Jeff Cobb versus Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. And there's not an FTW championship listed here. This is according to Wikipedia at time of recording. So this might change.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much stock in this. There's a lot of bodies in that match. I think the learning tree goes over.
Okay.
Although there's no belt on the line, I still think you need to. I don't think Jericho can lose.
I think if this is the match, I think the babyfaces are going to win, Joe, Hook, and Shibata. If there's an FTW match, I think Jericho will win that and keep the belt. Although it would be really cool to see Suzuki as a FTW champion.
It'd be nice to have the FTW championship off of TV for a little while.
Yeah.
As stupid as that sounds.
Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy.
This is going to be a good
Oh my God, this is going to be so good.
Match.
And I'm going with ZSJ.
I was just going to say that. I think Orange Cassidy
You're going with OC.
No. I think Orange Cassidy is gonna take the fall. I think he's gonna.
God, he's so stinking good.
That is gonna be an outstanding match. I haven't seen Zack Sabre wrestle in a while too.
He just wrestled on Dynamite this week with.
I haven't watched it yet.
Kyle O'Reilly, fantastic.
I am
match.
going to watch. I saw he was going up against Kyle O'Reilly.
Fantastic match,
and that is going to be. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
All right. IWGP Heavyweight Championship, Moxley versus Naito.
They have been pushing that on social media big time.
Yeah.
I want Moxley to lose.
Okay. I'm saying he's going to win.
My head tells me, but I want him to drop that belt.
I don't see it happening. I see him losing the belt, but I see that happening on a New Japan
We also
show.
don't have too many belts changing hands up to this point either.
New TNT.
Well, no, hang on. That's a vacated.
Women. Yeah, I know. I'm just
Okay.
writing them down. TBS and Strong. Yeah, so far, not really.
And why not let
IWGP.
IWGP take its belt back? Because Mox really isn't there. I mean, he's there, but he's not there.
Random singles match, MJF versus Hechicero.
And he called. Okay, can I just say, obviously MJF being my favorite, him calling out Hechicero at the end of his match on Collision. No, not Collision. I'm sorry. On Dynamite last week. Just out of nowhere, like just the screen pops up, and it was the Jacksons, right? It was the Young Bucks.
I don't remember.
And you're just like, who is this guy? What is going on? Like, how does this have anything to do with anything? This doesn't make.
He's been on AWTV for a while now.
Yeah, I know, but it just seemed totally random. It was like that scene from Waiting when he's like, "In you," and he like points to Dane Cook at like the back of the party that's never spoken to him before, you know. And I'm just waiting. Yeah, MJF is gonna obviously go over. It'll be a good match, though.
It will be a good match. Another trios match: the Elite of the Jacksons and Okada versus Scissor Ace of the Acclaimed and Tanahashi.
If Daddy isn't there, they're not going over.
He'll be at ringside, supposedly. He's not wrestling.
I won't know until the match begins. If they call Scissor Me Daddy, they're gonna win, but I don't think they will. I'm gonna go with the heels.
Okay, the Elite. Yeah, that's what I'm going with too.
They've got a good push going. Keep the momentum going.
Another first-round tournament match for the men's Owen Hart Cup, and it's going to be an awesome match again. Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi.
Yeah, the Dragon's going over.
Actually, they're both the Dragon.
The American Dragon.
Okay.
Is going over. They are both the Dragon. You're right.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Takagi's just the Dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the American Dragon's going over.
This is another one of those Bryan Danielson dream matches. I kind of see him losing, honestly. I'm going with Takagi.
Takagi, is he with IWGP or is he with?
He's with New Japan, yeah.
He's with New Japan.
Mm-hmm. And finally, he's actually with, I think he's with LIJ still. Los Ingobernables. And the AEW World Championship, Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay.
Is that going to be the main event? Are they finally going to let him be a
now that
Ospreay's
in it. Yes.
This might be Ospreay's first loss.
I know. I'm back and forth about it.
you can't give both belts to Ospreay. I think that they try to put Swerve over by having him beat Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Swerve. I think whose house, Swerve's house, and this will help earn him a lot of respect because he's been a paper champion up to this point, and this will really help put a little oomph behind the belt.
I'm going to kick
again.
myself if Ospreay wins, but yeah, I'm saying Swerve.
Ospreay's going to hold both belts in the first 6 months of being there.
They are pushing him hard, dude. I wouldn't be surprised.
He deserves it, but I mean, like when you go that fast, are you hurting yourself a little bit? You know, are the fans going to get whiplash? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bruh.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
Bruv.
I'm picking Swerve.
Speaking of guys saying bro too much, bruv.
That's it. That's the card.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, all 13 matches.
13 short matches. Comment below. Let us know what you guys think. What is your match of the night?
Oh, gosh.
I think this is the first time since he's been on television that Will Ospreay will not be in my match of the night.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be Sabre and Cassidy.
Yes, me too. That one, or I think the TNT Championship match.
Oh, the ladder match. That'll be good.
I think that ladder match has some potential there to be a really good one.
Yeah, they need to work hard to try and steal the show.
Yeah. Yes. You're going to have to work very hard to steal that show.
All right.
Wow.
Diva's belt is on the line. Dan's got to get his picks in by Saturday evening.
We have some serious stuff going on this week. Check it out. Let us know what your match of the week is going to be. Please, guys, send us your tweets. Follow us at WrestleWithBiz. Share with us. Tag us in any really funny stuff, and it will definitely make it on the show. And we'll even mention you if you're the one that tags us in it. I will certainly give you a mention and a share. Of course, give us a follow. And
oh, wait a minute. Any bonus?
I can't think of anything interesting. I don't. Are you gonna wager anything?
If it ends up being an FTW match between Jericho and Suzuki, I'm saying Jericho's winning. I'm putting 1 point on that.
Wait. Okay. Pump the brakes here. I don't know how fair that is. I think you have to hang on, just hear me out. I think if you're going to do that, then you have to wager something that there's going to be an FTW, and then you can wager on the outcome. And if there is no FTW match, then you lose the 1 point because there wasn't, but then the other one gets nixed because it never happened. But if there is,
you could win 2 points.
Then you could potentially win 2 points if you get it right.
All right, yeah, I'll do that. 1 point on Jericho, 1 point on there being...
Because you're really making two predictions.
Sure.
Right?
I accept that.
Because right now there is no official FTW match on the card.
Okay, I'll take that.
And plus it also kind of negates, because then that would theoretically replace the match, the Learning Tree match. That's already, the Trios match that's already on there. Yeah, I think this is going to be a 4-hour show.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, this show's going to go a long
with the pre-show, pre-close.
All those Trios matches, you're not going to put 6 guys in a ring just to have them fight for 8 minutes. That's going to be a 20-minute match right there with entrances.
Well, they've done that before. They've done short trios matches
with women. Well, they don't really do trios with women. They've done. I've seen.
Yeah, we're thinking of WWE.
And on that note, be sure to comment, share, subscribe, follow us on all our social media, Facebook. We are putting the gauntlets up here and there, so please be sure to check those out. Keep watching, and we'll keep wrestling with the business. See you next time.